Welcome to this video on Indian polity, focusing on the directive principles of state policy, or DPSP, and fundamental duties. We will cover Articles 37 to 51A. We begin with Part 4, which covers the directive principles. These principles act as a guiding light for the state when making policies. DPSPs are borrowed from the Irish Constitution. They are a set of principles that the state should keep in mind while formulating policies and laws. Their goal is to establish social and economic democracy, envisioning a true welfare state. Article 37 is the core foundation, defining the application and nature of DPSPs. They are non-justiciable, meaning you cannot go to court if the state fails to implement them. However, they are fundamental in governance, and it is the state's moral duty to apply them while making laws. Articles 38 and 39 focus on the welfare state. Article 38 requires the state to secure a social order that promotes the welfare of the people and minimizes inequalities. Article 39 lists specific policy principles, including equal pay for equal work for all citizens. Article 39A, added by the 42nd Amendment Act of 1976, is about equal justice and free legal aid. It is the state's responsibility to ensure that the legal system works for everyone to get equal justice, providing free legal aid to the economically weak. Article 40 focuses on village panchayats, a Gandhian principle. The state has a duty to organize village panchayats and grant them the necessary powers and authority to function as units of self-government. Articles 41 and 42 cover social security and work conditions. Article 41 is the right to work and secure public assistance in cases like unemployment or sickness. Article 42 calls for securing just and humane conditions of work, including maternity relief. Articles 43 and 43A address labor rights. Article 43 mandates securing a living wage for workers and a decent standard of life. Article 43A, added by the 42nd Amendment Act, 1976, focuses on increasing workers' participation in the management of industries. Articles 43B and 44 concern cooperatives and UCC. Article 43B, added by the 97th Amendment Act, 2011, promotes cooperative societies. Article 44 mandates the state to strive for a uniform civil code, UCC, for all citizens throughout India. Article 45 is about early childhood care. The state should strive to provide early childhood care and education to all children until they complete 6 years of age. This article was altered by the 86th Amendment Act, 2002. Articles 46 and 47 focus on upliftment and health. Article 46 is the state's responsibility to promote the educational and economic interests of weaker sections, like SCs and STs. Article 47 mandates raising the level of nutrition and standard of living and banning intoxicating drinks and drugs. Articles 48 and 48A deal with agriculture and environment. Article 48 directs the organization of agriculture and animal husbandry on modern lines and the prohibition of cow slaughter. Article 48A, added by the 42nd Amendment Act, 1976, mandates the protection and improvement of the environment, forests, and wildlife. Article 49 is the protection of monuments. The state is obligated to protect every monument, place, or object declared of national importance, from spoliation, disfigurement, destruction, or export. Finally, Articles 50 and 51 cover governance and world peace. Article 50 aims to separate the judiciary from the executive to maintain the independence of judges. Article 51 focuses on promoting international peace, just relations with nations, and respecting international law. We now move to Part IVA, covering the fundamental duties. These duties represent a citizen's moral compass, emphasizing that rights must come with responsibilities. Fundamental duties are listed under Article 51A. They were inspired by the Constitution of the erstwhile USSR and were not part of the original Indian Constitution. They were added based on the recommendation of the Swaran Singh Committee via the 42nd Amendment Act of 1976. The first 4 fundamental duties are: A. Abide by the Constitution and respect its ideals, institutions, flag, and anthem. B. Cherish and follow the noble ideals that inspired the freedom struggle. C. Uphold and protect the sovereignty, unity, and integrity of India. D. Defend the country and render national service when called upon. Next, E. Promote harmony and brotherhood among all Indians, transcending differences, and renounce derogatory practices against women. F. Value and preserve the rich heritage of the country's composite culture. G. Protect and improve the natural environment, including forests, lakes, rivers, and wildlife, and have compassion for living creatures. The duties continue with H. Develop scientific temper, humanism, and the spirit of inquiry and reform. I. Safeguard public property and abstain from violence. J. Strive for excellence in all spheres of individual and collective activity, leading the nation to higher levels of achievement.
Duty K. The 11th duty pertains to the right to education support. It states that it is the duty of a parent or guardian to provide opportunities for education to their child or ward between the ages of 6 and 14 years.
When the fundamental duties were added in 1976, there were only 10 duties. The 11th duty, regarding education, was added in 2002 through the 86th Amendment Act. Currently, there are 11 fundamental duties. The significance of fundamental duties lies in reminding citizens of their responsibilities while enjoying their rights. They also serve as a warning against anti-national activities. However, they are criticized for being non-justiciable, meaning courts cannot directly enforce them, and for the vagueness of some terms like, quote, scientific temper. To summarize key amendments, the 42nd Amendment Act of 1976 added the original 10 duties, and the 86th Amendment Act of 2002 added the 11th duty related to education. Thank you for watching this video. Always remember your fundamental duties while claiming your fundamental rights.